and welcome to Buzz TV. I'm your host, Adrienne Houghton, and we have got an exciting show for you today. There's everything from restaurants and charities and galleries and something for everyone, really family favorites. So watch this space and find out more on Buzz TV. Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm your host, Adrienne Houghton. Now, do you have a sweet tooth? Do you crave delicious confectionery? Then you definitely need to know my next guest, who is Anita Kamiski from Amelia Toffee. Welcome.
Well, thank you. We are so excited to be here and to share our story with all of you.
Wonderful. So tell me, how did this all start? How did the Amelia Toffee start?
Well, we started, almost 6 years ago, and we started cooking here out of Jack's kitchen. And I had the privilege of going through Jack's Bridges, and I'm sure you've had many guests on that have gone through that program. And the mentorship and support that they gave me, it really encouraged me to grow this business. I had started with my grandmother's recipe, and I thought that I would have a nice little seasonal business. And over the past 5.5 years, we have really been embraced by our community, and it's allowed us to grow even after last year. And we can't thank all of you toffee eaters out there enough for supporting us in those hard times.
Have you always wanted to make toffee?
No, now my family will tell you that I'm not a very good cook, and the only thing that I excel at is this. But my grandmother really had a very fine palate. And back in the 60s and 70s, exposed me to a number of different types of food. So we were eating a lot of ethnic food. We had a lot of different flavors. And I thought that I could start with her recipe, which is our sea salt toffee. And that's our #1 bestseller.
So she developed, or she had a recipe for sea salt
Uh-huh.
all those years ago.
All those years ago.
Because I thought that the sea salt and sweet was just a recent thing.
No, those that cooked back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s always sprinkled salt and pepper on everything. And so there was always a dash of salt, and salt really helps the flavor pop. Now, our recipe is a little different than my grandmother's because she used Hershey's milk chocolate, and we only use dark chocolate. Sorry, Grandma.
Yes.
But there was very little dark chocolate available when we started making this. So that's one of the differences. And then I thought that we needed a little pop. And we started with flavors, and we do all sorts of fun things. We do an orange bliss, and we sell a lot of it for our Florida folks, and key lime, which is a surprising flavor. And those of you who love key lime will be delighted with the flavor profile of this. We've partnered with a number of people over the years, and our latest partnership is with Marlin and Barrel, which is a distillery on Amelia Island. We use their pineapple rum, which is a
wonderful,
beautiful complement to the dark chocolate.
Very nice.
So we've got a variety of flavors, and almost anything that you can think of, we have combined.
So what really makes your toffee unique?
Oh, there's all sorts of things. The magic, for one.
Yes, of course. The recipe.
The recipe. And we do use a very different cooking process than most toffee makers, and I can't share with you those
Of course
tips.
not.
But that's one thing. And then the flavors. There isn't a toffee maker out there that has a peanut butter crunch or an orange or a pineapple rum. So we're very different on that side.
Yes. So explain a little bit to me about the toffee. I mean, when I hear toffee, I think English toffee, which tends to be chewy and stays in your mouth and sticks to your teeth a long time. Explain a little bit about the texture of your toffee.
We've worked really hard on that texture, and cooking here in Florida, for those of you who cook in this humidity, you know that humidity can cause you a few headaches. So we use a unique pot, and we cook it. The butter and sugar and the flavoring is cooked to a certain temperature. It's then poured into silicone molds that we had developed here in Jacksonville. And that
non-stick.
Yeah, and that allows it to cool quickly. And then we enrobe it in our dark chocolate. So it's that heating it up to a certain temperature very quickly and then allowing it to cool and not continue to cook, which allows us to give that nice, it's a hard consistency, but it's not going to break
yes,
teeth, and it's not going to get stuck. I say that if you have dental problems, this is not a problem or a product for you. But if you're fine, it's not going to be a chewy texture like a caramel or chewing gum.
How can people find it? If they say, oh, that's just excited my taste buds, I need to go out and get some. How can they find you?
Well, we are, we're available at Whole Foods. So those of you who live in the Florida area, every Whole Foods carries it. We're also a partner with Edible Arrangements. You can go on their website and find us. Next month we launch again on Home Shopping Network. And if you live on Amelia Island, I think we're sold in about 14 locations up there. And you can check our website for where we're sold.
And your website is?
www.ameliatoffee.com.
Anita, it's a pleasure to have you here in the studio.
Well, thank you all very much. And keep supporting local.
Yes, most definitely. And if you'd like to know any more information about Amelia Toffee and Anita and all the different flavors, you can also contact iwantabuzz.com.
Hello, I'm John Rutherford from the United States House of Representatives, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Michelle McManaman from Operation Uniform, and I am a watchstander, and so is everyone in my organization.
I'm Damika Jackson. I'm the president of the Jacksonville Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Luke Lewis with Xera Realty.
I am Ant Stroud with the Ant Stroud Group.
I'm Bruce Thompson. I'm the Vice President of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
And I am a watchstander.
I am a watchstander. I'm a watchstander.
Each year, over 6,000 U.S. military veterans take their own lives, including one per week in Northeast Florida. The Fire Watch is our community's fight to end veteran suicide. Join us. Become a watchstander today at thefirewatch.org. Together, we will end veteran suicide.
Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Continuing interesting businesses across the First Coast. Who doesn't know Dillard's? And today we have Michelle Erickson, who is a corporate stylist for Dillard's, who's come along to talk to us about a new collaboration with Antonio Milani. So welcome, Michelle. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me. We're so excited to share this new collection with you.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is one of the pieces, but tell me, how did Kimberly Whitman get her start?
Well, Kimberly Whitman started as a young woman, and her mother used to always lend out their table settings to friends and family for special occasions. And she said to her mother one time that, we should start a business, which planted the seed. And at 21, she started her first party planning and catering business based on their connections, just like that.
Just like that. And actually, she's got nothing really to do with fashion. It's more interiors and the crockery and the
table settings, party planning. However, she has a very distinct taste and style.
Yes, very much so. And how did she come about? I mean, how did Alexandra Dillard find her?
So Alexandra has been trying to find new ways to make the business more exciting and bring newness to the Dillard stores. So she started looking into partnerships with micro influencers and tastemakers that have very distinct styles.
Yes.
And that would work well in Dillard's. And that's how she came about Kimberly Whitman. Our first collaboration was in the spring with Emily Hertz, who is with Born on Fifth out of Atlanta, Georgia. So these are limited and exclusive deliveries.
I have to say that Born on Fifth reminded me so much of like the Delft collection. It was very pretty, very delicate, very blue and white. It was lovely.
So feminine.
And this one's so vibrant, isn't it?
Yes, very opposite.
And so it's not just clothing, is it? Because
no,
here we have.
So she brought in some beautiful dresses. She collaborated with a children's line, a children's delivery, and then we have shoes as well as her books.
What do you think has been the most pleasant surprise for you about Kimberly Whitman?
We are pleasantly surprised about her connection and understanding with the Dillard's customers. She's from Dallas, Texas, and that's a big Dillard's market. And she just wanted to design a line that every woman would want to wear. And she wanted them to feel joy when they wore the clothing. And I think she's accomplished that with this beautiful dress collection.
Yeah, without a doubt. And how long did it actually take? Do you know how long the design process took?
They've started working on the process a year ago with these collaborators that we're seeing in 2021.
And at the worst time of all, when supplies are difficult and we can't get all the bits and pieces.
We've had our challenges.
But we've got some wonderful things here. These beautiful shoes. Look at these. Look, I have to lift those up. Do you know how difficult it is to find blue shoes nowadays? It is almost unheard of. I have been searching for blue shoes
well, I'm glad
for
we
a long
brought them right
time,
to
and you brought them right to me. So that's absolutely perfect. Are there other items other than the shoes within the collection?
Yes, so we have, the shoes come in 4 different colors, the flats and pumps, and they're also bringing in clogs, so they're arriving as we speak.
Okay.
There's a children's line for little girls and big girls, which is so precious. Her daughter helped her collaborate on that, which was so lovely to see that collaboration. And then we have scarves and belts as well as 2 of her books that she's written on party planning.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
So tell me about the color range. What are predominantly her colors? Is this it? Or?
So she got this inspiration for this pattern from one of her china pieces. So they've lifted it from her favorite china pattern, and then they pulled colors from that complemented. So this delivery is full of bright yellows and oranges, pinks, and just very vibrant colors. And we also have some beautiful white dresses in the collection as well.
Which is so very Florida. I mean, I think especially here we have difficulty finding clothing that's going to be the right fit for the humidity and everything. And that was the one thing I noticed, that this, not only is it the perfect design, but it's also the right weight as well, which is
coming from
lovely.
Dallas, Texas, she was very familiar with how sticky and uncomfortable the heat could be. So she wanted to design dresses that everyone could wear. And what we love is, I think you noticed as well, they have pockets. The fabric is just beautiful, and they're different lengths as well. So they're all ages. They're for all ages.
And all sizes.
All sizes.
All sizes, all ages, which is magnificent. What else would you like the audience to know about this particular collection?
Well, her inspiration was very personal. She has a mother and 2 sisters, so she wanted to make sure that her family members loved and would wear the clothing. I think it's just precious that her daughter helped her with the collaboration of the children's clothes. And the shoes just bring the pop of color. There's orange and black and white, just pop of color back to the group. It's just beautiful. And you really feel wonderful and pretty when you wear it. And it does bring a lot of joy to the customers.
It is very feminine.
It is very feminine. You put it on and you're happy.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful range for all ages. And I think once you see it in the store, you just get this.
Yes, it's fun to be in the dressing room and see a woman respond when she puts a dress on and feels so beautiful.
How wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in and telling us all about it.
Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you'd like to know any more information, obviously you can pop down to your local Dillard's, and if not, you can go to iwannabuzz.com.
Sorry to interrupt your show. I'm Steve Strum from Buzz TV. Today we have Troy Farquhar from Integrity Law.
Thanks, Steve.
Tell us about your firm.
Yeah, so Integrity Law is a full-service law firm. We do mostly family law, but we also practice in estate planning, personal injury, probate, real estate matters. So look us up, www.integritylawjacks.com.
Thanks for joining us. And you guys can have your show back.
Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton, and we've got a very interesting segment for you today because we're doing exercise and sports entertaining. We have Susie and the wonderful young professor over in Studio 2, and joining me in the Buzz Lounge is Chris Gardner from Camp Gladiator. Now, exercise can help boost energy, can promote sleep, can be helpful with losing weight. We're going to find out a little bit more all about the brand Camp Gladiator. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So tell me about the overall brand Camp Gladiator.
Well, the overall brand of Camp Gladiator is about having a health and wellness program for all fitness levels. So it doesn't matter if you haven't worked out in 20 years or if you're an ex-college athlete, it's going to be the right program for you, allowing you to be healthy and fit in a fun, safe manner.
So what you're saying is that even if you are overweight, haven't done anything, you've got something for someone.
Absolutely. We have trainers who are going to be able to take care of you no matter what your conditions are, even if you have pre-existing injuries, or if you're overweight, or if you are just an absolute athlete. We have the ability to take care of everyone at the exact same time, allowing you to be able to work out together. A classic example, I've had grandmothers and then young athletes working out at the exact same time, and they're just working out as hard as they possibly can. But more importantly, those two people are actually building relationships with each other in the community.
Well, that's another thing, because exercise can be fun as well as being social. So that's another good plus for exercising. So tell me exactly what I should expect if I attend a first class of Camp Gladiator.
Well, it's very simple. First and foremost, when you come out and see the trainer, we're going to welcome you with open arms, and we're going to first ask you how you're feeling, make sure that we know about any injuries that we need to know about, so that way you can have a great experience. Most times we're going to make sure that you are right directly in front of the trainer at all times, so that way in case you get lost, we can keep an eye on you. But more importantly, it's going to be a full body workout that allows you to go at your pace. So no matter whether it's your first time working out in a long time or you're just coming over from a different program, it's going to be about making sure that you're going at your pace at in a safe manner.
Now, is this outside? Is this inside? Are you working with machines? What is it?
Well, it's wonderful because Camp Gladiator is an outdoor fitness program. We try to stay away from the term boot camp because it tends to scare people because it really is just about having fun. So we're an outdoor fitness company allowing you to be out in the fresh air just like God intended. And then we also have a virtual offering for those people who do not want to go outside right now, or if they're also in a city that does not have Camp Gladiator on the ground, you have the ability to do outdoor or virtual at any point in time.
Well, this is wonderful. We are going to continue this conversation in a minute, but at this point in time, we're going over to Studio 2, and we're going to be talking to Susie, who's talking to Matt Grafer, the young professor.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm really excited to be talking to Matt today. He's a really interesting guy who does a lot of things. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So first of all, you are actually a teacher.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I used to be a professor here in Jacksonville, actually in exercise science. So all this talk about Camp Gladiator, I remember, I think 2 years ago, I think those guys came into town, and I remember some of my students were looking at some of those opportunities. Wow. So I actually started in exercise science as a professor for about 7.5 years. And then now I've transitioned to teaching at the high school level, and I'm teaching history. So a little bit of everything.
Well, not just that, though. You say a little bit of everything as though there isn't this other, thing that you do when school's out. You go and you do wrestling matches and more than just that. Tell me a little bit about what you do in your pastime.
Teacher by day, entertainer by night. Edutainer, I think, is the word that I like to use because it's a little bit of both. But yes, I've been a ring announcer, a commentator, and personality in professional wrestling for the last 3.5 years. I also work in boxing and mixed martial arts. I used to work with the Jacksonville Sharks as their MC on the field, and I work with the Daytona Beach Tortugas down in Daytona for the minor league baseball team.
So what made you want to go into that kind of a field? What drew you to that?
You know what? People been telling me since I was in high school myself that my voice was really good for these sorts of things. And it's one of those things where people tell you something enough that you finally say, maybe there's something to this, and you start to explore those avenues.
Absolutely. Well, that's such a cool thing that you do. With, the events that you do, COVID obviously has affected a lot of that. How were you affected by COVID, and how did the industry that you work in kind of adapt to everything that was going on?
Well, one thing I'll say is I think it's very good that we live in Florida. Because our restrictions compared with some of my compatriots in other states were considerably less than others. And it has allowed me to continue to thrive. There was about 3 months where I was not working any events at all. Wow. I host trivia as well during the week, and all of that was gone. But within about 3 months, that started to softly come back, and some of the events started to come back as well. Now, the shape and size of the events changed. I mean, I've performed in empty arenas. I did an event here in Jacksonville last March in the midst of the beginning of the pandemic when nothing was happening, and Combat Night, the organization I work with, we were the only MMA promotion running in the entire world. ESPN was covering us, and I was performing and doing ring announcing, usually to a large audience, to a camera, to no one. And it was very, very strange. But we weathered the storm. I lost a lot of opportunities, but in just kind of staying safe and doing as much as we could, I've been able to gain a lot of those, and I think come back on the other side better off maybe than I was on the front end of it.
Absolutely. And I think it's important that you did try as hard as you could to remain active through that. I think some of the things that happened is some people completely went off the grid during COVID, and now it's really hard to come back afterwards. You know, you've just lost that entire audience. So it's good that you tried to remain as active as possible and keep up those connections. So I think that, you know, this is an interesting question, you know, for me. With this industry, I feel like as an entertainment source, it can be a little bit strange for people that aren't familiar with it. It's literally you're watching people, you know, punch the living daylights out of the other. But for you, what drew you to that arena itself? Like, why do you enjoy announcing for these events? Is it the people, the audience? What do you love about it?
It's all of that. I mean, it's something that I clung to from the time I was a kid. I got into professional wrestling when I was about 10 years old, and I didn't grow up in a really sports-oriented family. They weren't traditionally interested in football or baseball or hockey or anything like that. And wrestling at the time, when I got into it, was very, very big. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker. And so that really captured my imagination, my attention. And so when the opportunities kind of presented themselves and I realized what skills I could bring to perhaps be a part of that world, it was something that I was very interested in, and I've been very fortunate to grow in and do well with.
Are you able to bring it into the classroom? Do your kids like that?
Absolutely. I did it as a college professor. I would take my students on field trips, and we'd talk with the strength and conditioning coaches at different teams, and even with wrestling organizations. We work with marketing directors. So I really put it into my classroom. So the young professor nickname, I was doing some of that stuff as an actual professor, and then I bring some of my background and education in exercise science to the wrestling world, and I think they kind of work with each other nicely.
Absolutely. So before we switch over to Adrian, I want to ask you, do you have any events coming out that people need to know about?
Well, at this point, I just finished up the last couple in Jacksonville for a while, but I'll be in Daytona Beach with the Daytona Beach Tortugas for a while. So all their home games, if you guys are down in that area, will come down. But we should have some more things coming up in Jacksonville here in the not-too-distant future.
All right, well, that's super exciting. We'll go back to Adrian to learn more about her guest.
Thanks, Susie, and thanks, Matt. I'm sure your students at Matanzas High School are just desperate to see what's going on here. So tell me, Chris, let's talk about Camp Gladiator. The impact on Jacksonville your campus have?
It's absolutely amazing because we really focus on having a community of fitness. And within that community, we have people meeting each other, spending more time with each other outside of camp, along with their 60 minutes of amazing that they have together with me. So one of the things that we like to do is we like to spend as much time volunteering. We have one of our trainers and his campers are volunteering at their local church doing a food drive monthly. I volunteer every single Sunday at my church, as well as we do what we call campus cleanups at my church, where we just walk around with trash bags and random trash that we find, we clean it up. One of our major things with Camp Gladiator is volunteering with our local schools. We love the schools, we love the educators, we love the children, so we go do whatever we possibly can. So when we're volunteering at school, it's not really just about what can we do, it's what can we not do. Like whatever you want us to do, we will do, whether it's with the kids, whether it's with the teachers, a campus cleanup, anything to get involved in our community is what we're really after, to not just promote Camp Gladiator, but to really beautify our community and make sure that we are all coming together.
Yes. Now, if people are interested in joining Camp Gladiator, is it a membership group?
We do have a monthly membership. We call that bold. We call them a bold campers because you have to be bold to come out there into the parking lot and be able to go ahead and do our fitness. But what we really do is we give everybody the opportunity to try it out. So one thing you could always be able to do is if you just want to put your toe in the water and just test it out, you can always be able to go to our website and just sign up for 1 week free at one of your local locations, or you can be able to do the same exact thing online virtually as well.
Oh, so you do a compatibility session. So if people come along and they think, well, I don't want to really sign up because I'm not really sure whether I'm going to like this or not.
Absolutely. We're not interested into trying to wrangle anybody into a long-term commitment.
No.
We believe wholeheartedly that we're one of the greatest fitness programs out there. But if you come out for a week and you try it and it just doesn't seem to fit your style, fit the kind of things that you're looking for, we don't want to have to hold you to that. We love for people to just come out, try it. And then most times I have a lot of people who come out and try and say, this is exactly what I needed. And then they'll go ahead and jump on one of our Bold memberships. And they're designed to give you commitment level. So that way, if you feel like you just want to do it for a certain amount of time, you can. But if you're all in and you want to jump in for a longer period of term, you can absolutely do that as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's super. Now, how many locations do you have?
Throughout the Jacksonville area, we have over 80 locations that are outdoors, and that spans all the way to what we call South Georgia, St. Mary's, Georgia, all the way down to St. Augustine.
Fantastic.
So we have a large enough trainer team to be able to handle that, and we're constantly trying to open up new locations because Jacksonville is so huge, and we're trying to impact as many people as possible. So we're always looking to be able to open up new locations. And then virtually, it's hard for me to say locations because virtually we literally have hundreds of trainers, and our virtual program, you get to be able to start a workout every 15 minutes, starting as early as 4:45 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. right from the comfort of your home. Or you can take it on the go. I've trained people who are on vacation in Hawaii. I've even been able to have the opportunity to train people who are in Germany with our program. So it literally every 15 minutes you have the opportunity of trying a workout with a brand new trainer. And you even have campers who say, you know what, I like this trainer, but I'm just going to play trainer roulette today, and I'm going to go ahead and see different trainers on a regular basis. And it's all at the tip of your fingertips.
Well, that certainly makes Camp Gladiator unique. And if anyone's watching this and would like to get hold of you, how do they find you?
One thing you can always be able to do is go directly to the website, and you can try that 1 week free trial. You can also email me at chrisgardner@campgladiator.com. And that would be the easiest way where I can be able to get you out there and get started. We have a fantastic promo that we're promoting right now where we're going to go ahead and really double down to where if you can contact one of the trainers, you're going to be able to get 4 weeks of Camp Gladiator for absolutely free, outdoors or virtual. It does not matter. And this is an absolute trial with no commitments, no contracts whatsoever.
And the website is?
www.campgladiator.com.
As easy as that. Chris, thank you so much for coming into the studio. It's a pleasure to find out more about Camp Gladiator.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And so if you'd like to know any more information about Camp Gladiator, or you'd like to find out about Matt Grafer and where his next events are, then you can go to iwannabuzz.com. Wow, that was fantastic. What a great show, and what interesting businesses. Don't forget, if you need any more information, you can go to iwannabuzz.com. Bye for now.